So I've been thinking about something else. Forgive my hair, it's dry because I didn't put oil in it tonight. I need to do that tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll get oil all over my bed sheets. Anyway, there's a bunch of these videos online on YouTube where men break down what attracts a woman and how to make women more attracted to you and how to think about it differently. It's all very interesting. Look, me personally, I check out once I see a paywall of any kind. One guy's video I just watched was 17 minutes long, and I'll be honest with you, he really didn't get into much. And it's obviously got this page where men subscribe to and then they get classes. Christ's sake, you know what I mean? Fucking hell. Everything's a fucking class and a way to fucking monetize fucking what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? You couldn't just tell us that. Do you know what I mean? That tells me two things. Look, I might be wrong, like I say every video, what do I know, right? But that tells me two things. A, you actually don't have the information, really, and you're just milking something that maybe you have a little bit of, that you know enough about. And number two, it tells me that you just care more about making money off this incredible wisdom that is, and I'll get into this in a second, that is so powerful, you'd rather make money off of it. It makes sense. I get it. But I don't know. Me, myself, like I said, I check out whenever I see a paywall, and it doesn't seem very authentic to me. Surely make one long video about it or a few videos about it and then just help people, and then people will respect you because you've helped them and you actually helped them with stuff, and people will appreciate it, and then therefore you will appreciate the impact you're having on the world. You know what I mean? I don't know. But there's this one girl on YouTube. Her name is my non leather life, something like that. I'll find her page and I'll put it in the description if anyone's asked. But she breaks down so many of her videos. It's literally like what I'm doing right now, sitting in front of a webcam, no external mic, no fancy setup, just sitting in front of her laptop webcam and explaining from her experience. She's not some ologist or illogist or doctor or professor, but just from her lived experience as a woman, as a heterosexual woman, what men are attracted to, or what I should say is, sorry, that's wrong, cut that, what women are attracted to in men that men don't know about, and what we don't want to tell you, da 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 da. And it's saying how it is. And yeah, sure, it's not cut up into segments so it flows smoother like my videos aren't. I blow my nose in the middle of the video, who gives a shit. Do you know what I mean? But that's the closest thing you're going to get to reality on this space, on this internet. That's the closest thing you're going to get to reality, is someone just saying it how it is. Sure, it's longer form, but remember remember that that's natural, and we're made to sit down and listen to people. Do you understand? I don't want to be that guy, but for real, all this short form content that we can just get infinite amount of, how much of it has just fried our brain? Whatever. Anyway, she talks about that, and I will say, don't forget all. Look, I'm not saying that these guys have nothing good to say. Of course they do. So many of them do, and I appreciate that. How many have I really seen compared to how many are out there? What do I really know? And I'm sure even more than I think have quite useful information. But this is a woman talking about what women feel, not a man talking about what women feel. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to be different. It's always going to be more impactful from a woman because she has the lived experience, and lived experience puts you above, even if you have so much of everything else. That lived experience of being that person and going through those things trumps. I'm not saying that the people who haven't have nothing to say, but it puts you one level above. Like if you don't have that, you just cannot reach. Okay? That's what I think. I guess I make this video to say that if you want to know stuff about that kind of stuff, go to the source. You know what I mean? If you really want to know, then you can. You can do it in real life. You find it on the internet. But what I'm saying is this is someone who's talking about how things really are. And I'll tell you now, from my experience, what I think. Because I want to. Yes, a lot of this advice is great. How to approach and talk to women or men or whatever it is you prefer or you're inclined to. It's great. But you have to remember that the only thing that can really teach you that stuff is life. It's real life. You can learn a million things about how women are or how men are. But if you don't go and talk to women, if you don't go and talk to men, if you don't go and talk to people, you don't know. That's it. And I'm learning this. This is from someone who's learning this, who spent years of their life on a screen having simulated experiences that are short-term enjoyable but have a long-term negative effect, and I've only just come to that realization. Whether that realization is something you agree with or not, whether I'm chatting absolute nonsense to you or not, it doesn't matter, because I went through and have seen enough to know that now. It's beyond anymore. It's beyond anymore a possibility. That is what that has done. That has that effect. End of. It's how the brain works. It's how we are. Look, I was born in 1999, on the cusp of the noughties, and I'm glad, because you know what? My first few years, I had a real life, where as a kid I was playing outside every day till I was about 7, and I remember that vividly, and that's something I cherish to this day. And then just stuff happened. Got to 10 and beyond, and I prefer playing on my PlayStation. That translated into just jumping on Facebook after school and playing those fucking games on there, like McCaféville or whatever the fuck, you know. And not everyone has this experience. There are plenty of people who have done both in their life, but I was never that kid. From 10 to 17, seriously, for 7 years, from 10 to 17, I was the stay indoors kid. You know, I was the stay indoors kid playing fucking Minecraft and every game I could think of. And hey, look, I have very fond memories of that. You know, I wouldn't have my best friend right now if it wasn't for those years and stuff like that, you know. And I'm grateful for every experience I've had. But life is better. I don't care what anyone says. As many great memories I have of those virtual experiences, life is better. Life is just better. Please, can someone tell me if they agree with me or not, and let me know if you feel the same way. That's important to me, because I want to know. That's interesting. More than interesting, it fascinates me, and it's important to me. Do you feel the same way? Because I swear, take all those years, take 10 to 17, to also my 20s, my early 20s. I'm 25 now, going on 26. All those years spent in a virtual world, yes, with real people, but in a virtual world, where I was not interacting with the real world. I take all of those years and I compare those years, let's say they're over 10 years, over 10 years of that, maybe 12 plus years of that, the virtual world, and my fun and experience, but my experience with the virtual world, I compare that to the first few years of my life. From, let's say, 0 to 7, but I don't remember when I was 0, do I? So let's say from 4 to 7. Let's say 3 memorable years I remember, memorable years I can actually remember. I could take those 3 years of my life, I compare it to the 12 plus years where I've been so much in a virtual world, and I compare that to the 3 years of my childhood where there was no virtual world pretty much. We're talking about maybe Club Penguin and playing Stickman games online if you manage to get hold of a computer in the library kind of thing, you know? I compare all of that to those 3 years, and these 3 years have so much more life to them. They feel so much more real. And I love them so much more. I really do. Because of how they make me feel. You can say, look, you know what? You can say that that's what being a kid is. Excuse me. See, blow my nose every day. Anyway. What do you want me to do? You can say that that's what it feels like to be a kid. Is to have those feelings. And you can't get that back when you're an adult. And it's different. At least it's different. It's not the same. Sure. If you can. I mean, there's obviously that's something I don't know. I'm going to have to learn a lot more. If that's even possible to get again. Can you get that kind of feeling about life again? Maybe. I don't want to rule that out. But there was something magical about being in the world. It sounds so weird because we're in the world every day. It sounds like I'm just some crazy guy alone, just in the middle of nowhere. I'm not, you know, as in I'm not in the middle of nowhere. Crazy is up to you, and it's really no importance to me. But I don't know. I didn't, when I was, my late teens and my 20s, I never relied on actually going out and speaking to someone to get into a relationship, I never went out and spoke to someone, and I know so many of us are the same. And now I'm doing that now, after so many things in my life have happened, and so many realizations I've come to. I'm doing that now, and in only the little bit of time I've been doing it, the very little amount of time I've been doing it, because of things that happened in my life where I was stopped from being me and having that ability and that freedom to just go out and be me. That's a whole other story. And this is not me telling a sob story. This is just what I've been through. It's important in order for me to explain my thoughts. I don't want to make this video too long. I guess what I'm saying is recently, quite recently, at 25, I've come to the realization that all the stuff they used to say about this, like, it's true. It's true. It's so true. I said in my last video that there was a time, early 2010s, when there was a trend where a lot of people were saying, get off your phone, go out to life. And I was saying how that was kind of the last bit of that. And we haven't really seen anything since. And now things exist on the phone to keep you on the phone, but to tell you that, at least the way I see it, to make you think that you're doing something more useful and it makes you think that you're doing something productive that you'd get from not being on the phone, like these apps. Like I said last video, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but with micro learning and stupidity like that, which in my opinion is stupid. What do I know? But I don't know, guys. It's the real life. Real life is so much better. Real life is so much better. And I feel like now and I say we because it scares me. And you might think that I'm talking total nonsense. And the reason I keep saying you might think is because I want people to understand, and I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But I'm not some guy who thinks he has a lot of wisdom or anything like that. I'm just some guy who is becoming more and more confident to just say things how they are. And as that's been happening, I've been coming to these realizations and being able to tell myself how things are. You know, that's most importantly and number one. Stop lying to myself and telling myself that certain things are okay and certain things don't really matter. When doing those things or engaging in those things do matter. They do have an effect. All these simulated versions of real life, pornography, social media. I was speaking to a friend the other day and we were talking about this, and to me, it's very simple. In terms of what it does to the brain, social media releases what dopamine, serotonin to make you feel and gives you that feeling of connectedness and that feeling of socialness. I know that's not a word, but whatever. But lacks the actual real life aspect of it, which over time clashes with clashes with reality, and you have some sort of existential situation going on within yourself where, you know, maybe I think that's maybe what's happened to me, where I'm realizing now how that big chunk, that significant chunk I was missing, I'm only just realizing, and I'm only just realizing how much of an effect it's had on me. And pornography is the same. It's a simulated version of an intimate relationship, and you can just keep getting it. It never ends. You can keep going and keep going. If these things exist, you know, and I'm not here to say anything about whether these things are good or bad. It's not about that. It's not about good or bad. It's about what is this doing to you? If you're honest with yourself, what is this doing to you? Is it doing something positive or is it doing something negative? A lot of the time, yes, fine, we don't know, but I feel like, and I might be wrong, but I feel like so many of us, and bear with me, but so many of us have become so in love with hating ourselves because it's number one, it's a chance for us to victimize ourselves, which feels good short term, gives us that satisfaction where things have happened to us and we don't have to do anything about it. We don't have to blame ourselves. We can blame external factors, which takes the pressure off of us, but it's short term. In the long term, it puts an immense amount of pressure on you in the terms of some existential crisis of some sort, or existential realization where things are not matching up, things are not going, this is not correct, this is not a lie. So I guess I made this video to say that real life is so much better. And no matter how much we lie to ourselves, it doesn't change. That real life is better. And you learn very little. You grow very, very little if most of your interactions are made virtually. Which I realize now what's happened to me. because of one thing or another, but it's happened to me. And I guess I refuse to let it happen anymore. You know what my goal in life is? My dream. My dream is to live unequivocally me. My dream is to live as a me who is unequivocally himself and not give a donkey's ass about how I may be perceived. Because true confidence and the ability to tackle anything that comes your way comes from doing that, comes from achieving that. Excuse me. It's been 20 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up.